In May 1940, Germany took over the northwest of France. The Americans joined the war in 1941, and the British soon followed. The British had just been pushed out of Dunkirk by the Germans in France, and they were considering an Allied invasion on the English Channel. This information was not kept private, and it eventually reached its way to Hitler, who, upon hearing the news, gave Erwin Rommel the task of finishing the Atlantic Wall. The Atlantic Wall was a massive barrier that Hitler ordered to be built. It stretched from Norway all the way along the coast to the Spanish border. It was 1,670 miles long and was a part of the Fortress Europe. It was built to prevent an Allied attack on anything Nazi-occupied in Europe. It was started in 1942 and ended in 1944, right after the invasion of Normandy. The strongest parts of it were along the French coastline, where the Germans thought that the invasion would take place. Winston Churchill believed that the best place to get leverage on Germany would be through the Mediterranean. They had some slightly successful pushes, but the Allied commanders needed stronger bases and a better foothold. At the Terran Conference, Winston Churchill, Franklin Roosevelt, and Joseph Stalin decided to finally confirm the invasion of Normandy. General Dwight Eisenhower was put in charge of the invasion, codenamed Operation Overlord. In the months leading up to the invasion, they used everything they could to deceive and confuse the Germans. The goal was to make them think that Pas de Calais would be the main target for the invasion, and several other potential targets, like Norway. Hollywood machine guns and other fake equipment was moved around to confuse the Germans. Fake radio transmissions were picked up by the Germans to help keep them confused. The Allied powers even went as far as to send a phantom army across to Pas de Calais. The Germans' defenses were spread thin. On the morning of June 6th, thousands of paratroopers and glider troops had landed behind enemy lines to secure possible exit routes and bridges. Then, at 6:30, the amphibious invasions began. There were 5 beaches: Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword. The Americans faced light opposition on Utah Beach, and Britain and Canada took Gold, Juno, and Sword with ease. However, on Omaha Beach, American soldiers were facing an overwhelming amount of enemy defense. There were over 2,000 casualties on Omaha Beach alone. The fight for Omaha continued throughout June, and by the end, the beach was taken by the Allied powers. Over 1 million troops pushed up towards Germany. D-Day was the turning point in the war. It gave the Allied powers the leverage they needed and boosted morale. France was liberated and troops moved to Paris. From there, the Allied powers went on to capture Europe and force Germany's surrender.